In Module 2, we start to understand what opportunities there are to solve the problem we've identified and studied. In the first module, we considered our problem from a broad contextual and historical perspective. Now it's time to get more personal. You may have heard of or even created a client or beneficiary persona before. Creating a persona requires you to briefly describe the demographic background and lifestyle of the person you're building the solution for. You may also have done some user-centered design, where you make the effort to understand a problem from the user's perspective. In the first exercise of Module 2, we merge the two processes into an empathy map to quickly build a picture of the type of person we're building the solution for, what their particular pain points are, and what influences them. By understanding what an individual feels their most important problems are, their pain points, we can start to imagine opportunities to ease those pains.
Here we are, ready to start a new brainstorming session. This time, we're going to draw a user empathy map, which we're going to imagine as a sun, because our user is the center of our universe, of course. We're going to draw 6 rays fanning out from our sun. These create space for 5 empathy exploration areas. Overall goals, tasks, pain points, influences, and feelings. Now, who is our user? Let me think of a particular entrepreneur I know well, who I think is typical of this target group. Her name is Bongi, and she is 26 years old. I'm going to draw her here. I hope she's flattered. There's our picture of Bongi. Bongi has a PR diploma and is running her first business, which she started after she was retrenched 2 years ago. It's a busy services business, and she has 2 staff members. At home, she has a husband and 2 children under 5. Sure. Okay, so now we have a picture of Bongi and her life in our minds. This is called her persona. But we need to dig a little bit deeper to understand why she makes the choices and decisions that she does. Let's move to the part of the map where we empathize with her. This is where we try to understand her challenges, feelings, and influences. You can start anywhere on our empathy map, and you can also jump around between sections. My feeling is that it's going to be easiest for us to start with the pain points Bongi is experiencing. Bongi's pain points are where and how the challenges we've identified previously actually affect her as an individual. So in a situation where there's an economic shock, such as COVID-19 or the 2008 financial crisis, Bongi is going to feel discomfort around money and how she manages it. So she's going to worry about not understanding her finances and cash flows. With everything in crisis, Bongi is having to juggle a lot of things both in her business and at home, and is getting stressed. She has poor time management. This is a real pain point for her. things that are causing a headache for Bongi are documentation and compliance. Specifically to access the loans that are available. To access loans. These are available now that we're going through a crisis, but she can't apply for them because she doesn't have the right documents. She's also having problems managing stressed staff. Everybody's stressed in this situation. Something like COVID is universally stressful. And she's also struggling to find new opportunities. So there we go. She's got a lot of pain points going on here now that she's in this crisis mode. We understand some of her most pressing problems now, but what tasks then does she need to complete to ease these pains? Right, let's look at tasks. First and foremost, she needs to maintain her health and decrease her stress and financial pressures. Well, yes, that's a bit obvious, but let's not leave out the obvious. It is critical that she understands her finances and cuts costs. So this is a task she needs to do. She can't stay stressed about her finances and then not actually perform the task of trying to understand them and cutting costs. She needs to be more time efficient. That's a task she needs to do. She also knows that despite her own challenges, she wants to maintain staff morale. This is hard work in the circumstances, so it's a real task, and she wants to be a great team leader to guide everybody through this very difficult time. And finally, to keep her business going, she must feel energized, get herself energized to find new opportunities. This is no time to lie down and not go out there and try and make things happen. So she needs to feel energized to do that. Okay, those are her tasks, the things Bongi needs to get done. But what is her overall goal? What is she aiming to achieve by performing these tasks? Well, she most definitely wants to maintain, at very least maintain a business, but one that can cover costs. It's an income for her and staff. And she still has the energy and excitement to find new opportunities to grow. So you can see she needs to get her mindset right in order to keep this business going and cover her costs and beyond. She also needs to manage finances well enough. To have 3-month savings. This is a big goal for her because then she knows that the next time crisis hits, she's got a little bit of a buffer and a cushion. So those are her big overall goals, and they tie into her tasks, which tie into her pain points as well. Now let's move over to how she's feeling about all of this. Feelings are important as they help us to understand the impact her pain points are having on her performance and her esteem. By understanding Bongi's feelings, we can communicate with her better and be more supportive. How do you think Bongi is feeling? How about financially responsible? Yep, we can see that. For her staff and her family. Typical entrepreneur feelings and concerns. But she's also got grit, so she's determined to survive. She wants to maintain that business and find opportunities. She's got real grit. We need to think about this. She really is in crisis right now, though. So she's in this crisis, she's getting stressed, but she still needs to make her business work. She's determined to survive. So let's admit it, she's probably feeling overwhelmed and anxious. Whew, wouldn't you feel the same in this kind of situation? She also needs to feel ready to receive support. Otherwise, we can't help her. We're not going to be able to. She's not going to be receptive to actually getting that support. So she needs to know that she has that support necessary for getting all of this under control. And on the bright side, she's also feeling hopeful and proud. She's proud of how far she has come. Her resilience just needs a boost so that she can get through this really, really tough period. Okay, we now have a good overall picture and understanding of our target entrepreneur. But how might we reach her to offer support? Well, Bongi's influences are, well, obviously social media. I think we all have that. Other entrepreneurs, sure, because they know what she's going through. And specifically, she's got a cousin, an older cousin, who's running a successful business and she looks up to. She's also influenced by her local business network events, which unfortunately haven't been running during COVID, and her local hub, where she received some training a while back, and that was very helpful to her. And on a more personal note, she is influenced by the church and by her husband, of course. Right, so now that was a very quick run-through of how an empathy exercise works. If you're doing this as a group, there'll probably be a lot more brainstorming, as you can imagine. Here we go, all these ideas flooding in. And everybody just learning to empathize with Bongi and understand how we're trying to help her and what we're trying to do to help her. By doing this empathy map exercise, you'll get a good picture of how your target beneficiary, user, or client thinks and behaves, and what motivates them. It gives you insights into the problem from the perspective of someone who's experiencing it. This will allow you to, 1, imagine better solutions, and 2, design solutions that better meet your target user's needs, making that solution more successful. Now you go and try it yourself. Good luck!